I've got Teambuilder in College Football 25 early, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically just create a team. It's work in progress still, but I want to thank EA for giving me early access, and keep in mind that as I was filming this, they were adding even more features and options. In this video, I'm going to create a team while showcasing everything that you can do on the Teambuilder website. You can even download them in College Football 25 after this video if you want, and once I'm done creating them, I'll be taking them into 2 games in this video, one against a smaller school at our new stadium, and then one on the road at #1 Georgia, which can't go well on Heisman, but it needs to because for every game that I lose at the end of this video, I'll be giving away a copy of College Football 25 to a random commenter. As you can see on their website, the first page you're going to get is this one where you can click create. You can also scroll down and see featured teams, top downloaded schools, and top rated schools by other users. I was kind of hoping that you could go in here and preview them and maybe edit them to your liking, but it looks like all you can do is see the jerseys. It'll also allow you to see some of the other school information and then the roster too, which is very editable. You will see all of this in the video and a field preview too, which is really cool, at least for this team. I don't want to use somebody else's school though. I want to use my own team, so we're allowed to create a maximum of 32, and I already started on this one project. When I say there is a lot of customization in here, I really mean it. You're going to see that throughout this video. We have a bunch of different sections that we're going to get to go through, and the first one is school info. Now you all can already see the B on the logo. I'm coming up with this on the fly. We're going to be naming our team Bordeaux. I have my own school now. I'm creating my own college, and I have to use an eagle mascot because that's all I could find with a decent looking logo. For most of my sponsors, it's code BORD, so we're just going to go with BORD for the abbreviation, and I get to choose what city and state it's in. But one of the even cooler features is if you don't want to put it in one of the 50 states, you could go ahead and put them in a non-US place as well. The city is not something that you select. You can type anything here, so I could literally put them in Madagascar. I'm not even going to try to spell it. Don't worry about it. But what's important is for my own team, I have decided to put them in Tampa, Florida, where I'm at. I want us to have an in-town rivalry with the USF Bulls, and that's going to get us on to the next section where I've already uploaded the primary logo. As you can see right here, you would just hit the plus sign. There's a bunch of generic ones that you can choose from, but then you can go over to my uploads as well, and this is where you can put any file in here as long as it meets these requirements. So that's how I got my own custom logo in there. I didn't have time to make a secondary logo or anything else, so it's all going to be the same. But if you saw some of these other concepts, you'd understand why. Now that we have all 3 of our logos set, which is an amazing feature by the way to have all 3 of these logos, we're going to go down and select our school colors with this tab. And if you want it to perfectly match whatever logo you upload, you can also hit select from primary logo and then choose it from here. That's how I got these 3 right here, but you could also just go through here and get any color you want. I mean, you have full customization. There's also presets for all the other schools that you can choose between. And keep in mind, this is just the brand tab. Things get much deeper when we get over to stuff like uniforms. I'm so excited for you all to see that. And apparel brand wise, you can choose between Adidas, Nike, and Under Armour. I think I'm going to go with Adidas for this team. Most schools have been putting out some pretty bland uniforms recently, but I feel like Adidas's have at least had a little bit of life to them. And we're also able to select our nameplate font and our number font with this screen, but there's going to be a lot more to come, I'm sure. As for the numbers font, you can already see that there's a lot more choices. This is a beta, and I'm going to go for something like this one down here. But if I don't like how they look on these jerseys, then I'll change that. And I'm curious for how many options we can have. I think you have to create new and then name it something. And after adding in as many jerseys as I can, you can see that you can have up to 5 different uniform combos for your team builder. It gets even better when you go in to edit them, and you can also change between all 5 right here so you don't have to go back out every time. And once you're ready to see the final product, we're going to go ahead and preview uniform, and you can see them this way as well. You got the front view, you got the left view, you got the right view. I mean, this is such a cool feature to have on the website. You don't have to load into the game to actually see it. And let's start putting together all these jersey concepts. For our first one, I wanted to go with a red helmet, but I saw that there were different reflectivenesses available, and shiny's alright, but the chrome are the ones that look insane. We can also drag this helmet around, so whenever we go ahead and put stripes on it, we can see how they would look before we change the colors on them. And what's so cool about these is even though they look like they stick out really obviously, you can also change the reflectiveness here to make them chrome, which makes them blend in 10 times better. This is where it gets super deep and why I'm telling you all that you can get as creative as you want, because we can take these logos off the helmet obviously with these custom layers. I'm able to add one in. There's up to 7 on a helmet, and it's going to put our team logo there, but we can pretty much put it wherever we want, and it's going to blend in perfectly once we get in game. I can't wait to look at these when we're done. I should probably go ahead and remove the EA logo though, so we can do that, and I'm pretty sure you can have it on both sides. That's what I'm seeing here. But right now, if I leave it that way, you'd see that the B is flipped around on one of them, so we're going to have to either duplicate it or mirror it, and duplicate was the one to go with. I think if we wanted to blend in even better too, we we can change what type of reflectiveness it has. We have a chrome helmet right here that just looks incredible. And I'm not done. If we wanted to go ahead and put some numbers on the back right here, that is something that we could do. As you can see, I might have to move them around a little bit though. Where's left go? Over on the side. And if that type of placement isn't enough for you, there's also an advanced placement where we can scale them down to make it fit better. We could make them even bigger too. Or we could move them to the left and the right, so you can always have stuff on your helmet putting wherever you want. What I ended up going with was pretty tiny and not that noticeable. I'm also able to even make the reflectiveness on this chrome so it blends in better. And then we get down into accessories. This is where we could put stuff on the face mask, the chin strap, even the cup, and reflectiveness is once again a feature. But I'm only halfway down. I could just keep on scrolling. You have front bumper images, colors, and anything you could ever imagine for a helmet. By the time I was done with it, this is what my first helmet build ended up looking like. I'm not sure how I feel about that number though. We might take it off, and I'm excited to build out the other 5 jerseys too. I mean, considering that we can even edit the socks, I'm sure that the detail on these is just going to keep on getting more in depth as we go. And as I keep finding different ways to edit these jerseys, I have to be careful that we don't look too much like Maryland's. I also sure don't want it to look like Kentucky's rival Louisville, but one of the things that's on all these jerseys, the EA logos, so you have to find out where to delete them just to get rid of them. Another thing is you're going to see the sleeves have changed. I've been trying to see what I want to go with design wise. This display might look a little bit different whenever the site goes live, but I'm just clicking through all the different options. And I think what I'm going to settle on is this diamond pattern. You all will see it when I change up the colors like that. And there's just a little bit of uniqueness to it, but we might go with the black on the colored pattern like that. Some of these design things are so hard to go with, but if you don't want your names on the back of the jerseys, that's something you can remove just by flipping this switch. And what I ended up having to do was move the numbers up and down because they were getting cut off under this nameplate, so now I think I found them in a better spot. I know I'm only halfway done with this first concept, but the thing is you'll never really know how good these look until you get in game and actually use them. And I even messed around with getting the Bordeaux logo on the jerseys, but because there is a black B, it doesn't fit anywhere very well. It looks best whenever you fully zoom it in, but we're not going to use it on this jersey combo. And now we're on to the pants where we're going to delete the EA logo. There's multiple different options to choose between, and I guess we just have to find the one that works best. We needed some life on them, so I put a little bit of stripes right here since whenever I go to the full jersey preview, there's nothing on this side yet. I couldn't find anything, but this is all work in progress. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of options once this actually launches. And I can even change up the color of some of these socks, but I think what we're going to stick with is just a black and red. My final product for this first jersey isn't the best, but I just wanted to showcase all the features. We can still mix and match everything I'm about to create. And before we work on our boring white away jerseys, I want to get this gold helmet down in the mix. It's chrome and it's going to look sick once I'm done with everything. Just in case you were wondering too, you could also put numbers on the shoulders and on the shoulder pads right here, I guess on the sleeves if you wanted to. And I'm excited to finally have this Bordeaux logo on this jersey, so I'm going to get that placed and I'm going to show you all the final product in a second. What's so cool about all of this is by the time this video is live, it's going to be available for all of you to start a dynasty with in college football 25 if you wanted to, of course. And later on, we can decide if Bordeaux is going to be a cupcake or a powerhouse, but we still have to go ahead and create these away jerseys, so let's go ahead and dive into these. Now that I've showed off all the features you can go with, I'm not going to worry too much about going in depth on anything, and I've actually decided for the main helmet to change it up from chrome to shiny just because I feel like that looks a little bit better with the rest of the jersey. I might even put braille on these jerseys just to make it look more unique because I've never seen anything like this on a shoulder, and I do wish there was an option so I could make this stroke a little bit thicker, but it's going to have to do the trick for now. At the end of the day, you just have to play around with all the available options because I didn't even realize that between these 3 different base pant designs, there were a bunch of different stripes I could add like these, and I didn't know how these were going to turn out, but these are going to be Bordeaux's away jerseys in game. We're just going to have to get a closer look at them once we can actually play. Well, I almost forgot it, but I also have to make sure I put an eagle on the jersey right there because this isn't a black one. And we still got 2 more combos that we can add. The cool thing is I can base it off of these previous ones. So let's say that I wanted to go with an all red, I could base it off of home. And then going in, I know that all that I have to do is flip around these colors, which shouldn't take me too long to do besides making sure that I get this logo over on the patch in the correct spot. We also already have a red helmet, so this one's going to go chrome. That way we now have 2 chrome helmets to choose between. And I think the final one's going to have to be black, but I'm not sure how that's going to work with the type of logo we have. I could really mix and match all of this stuff, but I also like how the braille looks on the side of the jerseys. It might look terrible in game, but I feel like we need to have another combo with them like that. So I went to work and put together what might be the worst combination of colors and jerseys in the game. We have the McDonald's All-Americans also on Bordeaux's team. And I want to say this could go hard, but I don't think anybody's going to see it that way. So far, everything's probably looked pretty good to you all, and I would agree. I mean, we have more customization than I could have ever wished for. If you did NCAA Football 14 Team Builder, you would know that you can't change that much. But now looking at this website, you're going to see the one thing that I am a little upset about, and I think it's something that they're still in development with, they're working on. So let's just continue to scroll. You're going to notice that there isn't a single generic stadium in this list. That's right. Through your team builder, you have to select one of these stadiums to actually start it in. And the reason why that's a big deal compared to using a generic stadium is, let's say we go to something like Arizona State. You're going to have their logos on your video board up here, even if the field completely changes. Now, they've given us loads of customization options for that. You all are going to see that very shortly, but at least for now, all the stuff that's built into the stadium, all those logos aren't going to move or change around. So you almost have to search for stadiums where there's nothing too obnoxious until they eventually get to generic stadiums, which hopefully they do add. I'm not sure if they will, and UCLA is one of those. Luckily, for the purposes of this team builder, Bordeaux is in Tampa, so we're going to be playing at Raymond James Stadium, just like USF does, but their logos are going to be on our field. And I want to say that just makes our rivalry even stronger, but it also makes me want to change up our field to something else. I'm going to sit here and think about it for a second. Okay, there has been a change of plans. I looked through pretty much every picture, and UMass seems to have almost no branding on here, and it's one of the tiniest stadiums I could find with a capacity of 17,000. So for the Bordeaux Eagles, that is where we're going to reside, and then we can get over to our crowd colors. There is a lot of customization here. That might have been a little sarcastic. I'm sure you could do crowd patterns for different theme games in the future, but at least for now you can just choose between two different colors and how they balance out. So we're going to rock with black and red, but I think we're going to lean more towards having a lot of people with black shirts in the crowd because that seems to be our main color. Then for the surface, this is where you actually do have a lot of different options. You could literally make this field whatever color you want. If you want it to be this ugly gold, you could go ahead and do that. You can also change it between being a grass and turf field. You could make it natural like this. So these are the green grasses that actually look real. But we all love a good Boise State every once in a while. You could even have a pink field out there. This is all stuff that you can preview inside the game too, so you don't take over a team that has something hideous. And I'm pretty sure it's Eastern Washington, but there is a smaller FCS school that has a field like this, so maybe one day we'll try to rock with it. For the time being though, we're just going to keep it natural, and I want it to look as green as possible. We're also going to roll with some grass instead of having turf. And of course, you can change up the logo at midfield. We're not going to be putting EA on our fields. We need to have our own team logo there, and that is what I'm going to work on. We could completely flip this sucker upside down if we wanted to, but we're just going to leave it at default, and then I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger too. The reason for that is there's no secondary logos that go with what we're using right now. Maybe I could find an eagle, but I'm just going to turn them off. The only logo on our field is going to be at midfield. And if you really wanted more customization than that, you could add a custom layer and move that around anywhere on the field as well. For end zones, you're going to have a load of different patterns that you can choose between. The checkerboards always look nice. Maybe we should actually rock with this for one of them, but I don't know if I like it with these colors. We're not going to have McDonald's represented out there too. Maybe I should just stick to something simple like a black. And I don't know what it's going to take for my team name to show up here. This is still a work in progress build. I almost like those tiger stripes, but I'd assume that your team name automatically shows up and you don't have to worry about that on here. Doing further research, I kind of like the mountains though. I might go with this because eagles would reside somewhere up there. I'm going to mess around with this and see what I can figure out. I feel like the blue just looks a little bit better. Maybe that's what I'm going to stick with for now. And you can even change the font of all the numbers on your field. It looks like right now as I'm doing this, they have 5 options, and I think the best one is the default one. If you wanted to position it on the pro spot on the field, you could do that, but we want to be on a college field because of where the markers are. And it looks so cluttered with every 5. We're going to keep it at every 10. Arrow position, you can kind of move around to wherever you want on that number too. I mean, they just have every last detail in here. Sticking with the theme of the end zones, we're going to have some yellow numbers out there. This could end up being one of the most ugly things I've ever put together. And you could even customize stuff on the goal line, the 50-yard line, the 20-yard line if you want one color or 2 colors. I mean, the details are just everywhere. As for the sidelines, it looks like like we could even put some stuff around the field color-wise. I mean, we are going to do whatever we can just to make this as custom as possible. And the benches have not been forgotten about either. You can decide how wide they're spread. I kind of want to pack everybody in more narrow around midfield. So at the end of the day, even though it does kind of stink that you have to choose a stadium to start at, I was pretty happy with going with UMass down here. I mean, we'll take another look at it. It's just small, but it's going to fit in for Bordeaux Stadium really well, and the last thing that we can do is edit players and program. This is where the depth is even farther. We're going to get all into it, but the first thing I do want to mention is player names. You can edit these player names, just not on the website. It's something you have to do in-game, and I'm assuming that's because they know what you all would do, and they want to make sure that all their profanity checkers can make sure that certain names aren't allowed. Before we start editing this 85-man roster, though, we have to go ahead and select what type of preset we want for it. There's only 7 to choose from as of right now. Option attack would be something you could go with. I'm going to put cupcake for Bordeaux though. I really want to know how bad of an overall cupcake's going to be, but I also am kind of curious what average Joe's is. I mean, we're just a bunch of average people. At least everybody besides our quarterback. I realize that there's a height slider and we can make people as tall as 5 feet. Ross Bailey's not going to be the only victim for it either. Every single quarterback in this room is about to be 5 feet tall. None of them are safe. That's going to make things very interesting. Remember, I have to play 2 games with this team later, where for each one that I lose, I have to give away a copy of College Football 25. And before we edit even farther, I'm going to go ahead and select our offensive playbook. The Arizona one has some of the trick plays I've been running in my dynasties. That's what I've been using. While defensively, I don't think it really matters. I like this 4-3, so we're just going to stick with that. You can select a bunch of different skin tones. I mean, you're going to have more options here than anything else. If you go to view more, you're going to scroll for literally infinity with a ton of different faces. And I don't feel like scrolling forever to find someone that looks like myself, so we're just going to stick with this. Now, if we're going to have any chance in these 2 games on Heisman, I'm going to bump up the speed a little bit with our 5-foot-tall quarterback. 89's pretty good, and then we'll go with 90 acceleration. But I don't want to mess around with too many of these stats. I'm not even sure if Ross Bailey's supposed to be the best quarterback on this team, but he's going to be number 1. At halfback, we have Cameron Poe, and he is also not safe. We want our entire backfield to be 5 feet tall, but he doesn't strike me as an average Joe. This guy starts out with 94 acceleration and 92 speed. All I know is it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I'm also going to make all of our tackles as tall as possible just because I want to see the height difference, and then we're going to mess around with some of the defenders as well. Deshaun Dobbins is going to be my user, and I'm just kind of curious what 99 change of direction, 99 excel, and 99 speed feels like for this senior. I'm also going to make him 6'8". Maybe I'm able to use her all over the field, but he's going to be running around at about 320 pounds. I'm also going to make sure that this guy has a man bun. He is going to be the leader of our defense. And as of right now, I feel like I've fully completed this team. I think the Bordeaux Eagles are ready to be played with in College Football 25. The first thing you have to do is just save it. It seems like it's going to take it a bit to do that. And then we went ahead and clicked submit. We're going to get one final preview of everything right here. You can see every single player's ratings. You can also see your uniforms one final time. I don't know why it wouldn't let me name this right here. There was just something going on because it's a beta, so that's why there's not a name on it. But all of these jerseys, including the All-American McDonald's ones, are going to be in the game. And then for our field preview, there's one final look. I'm very curious to see what this looks like in the home one we play. I feel like this is historic. I'm clicking submit on a team builder for College Football 25. I've been waiting for 11 years on this new game, and now we have Teambuilder 2. But the real question is whether or not it worked. I'm about to fire up my PS5 to find out, but it says it's been successfully submitted, so even you all could play with them if you wanted to. I am so excited firing up this game right now, and in order to access your team builder, all you're going to do is go over to create and share the download center, and then we're just going to search for it together. I'm pretty sure it's going to be in my sharings. There it is, Bordeaux, download. We are getting this going. It is even over here in the actual searchable tabs. If I just look at the schools available, you're going to see it right there. And let's see what the preview looks like in game for what everyone else is going to see. They can rotate through the jerseys. I'm kind of curious what they name this one. It's just blank right now. And where on earth are the McDonald's ones? There they are. I am a little confused though, because this one was supposed to be yellow. I must have messed that up. And you can't be on the game and the team builder site at the same time, so I'm gonna have to close app to go check it. Well, I ended up not being able to figure it out. It's just part of using a beta, and I'm still able to start a dynasty with my team builder. That's all I really wanted to do, so we're gonna go ahead and do that right here. It has to be a cloud file, and then you're just gonna click import team builder. I should have the option to replace any school that I want, but you probably noticed that I didn't change any of the school grades over on the website, so that's where this comes into play. Whatever school I decide Bordeaux is gonna replace, it is gonna take over all of their school grades. So let's say we go with FIU and they have a D championship contender. I'm going to start with a D championship contender at Bordeaux. I'm also going to pick up all their pipelines. So since they're in Florida, that's why I'm going to decide to use them. And I could use the FIU roster too, but I want to keep the Teambuilder one that I just had. They are actually in the game right here. This is so cool to see. And if I had any say in it, I wouldn't put Bordeaux in Conference USA. I'd actually put them in the Sun Belt just because I like the teams that are in this conference a little bit more. Now it's time to set up our 2 games for this Teambuilder though. And apparently I need to just go ahead and select them first. That's what we're going to do. I'm a head coach and I'm guessing this is just whoever FIU has. We are importing the team as we speak. And there they are, the Bordeaux Eagles. Now I could have chose some better colors. The main color being black doesn't look the best, but that's why this isn't going to be a series for me, because I just needed to test out some things, especially with the logos and the colors. Like, this just isn't great. I can switch some stuff around, so I'm probably going to have to do that, but Ross Bailey wasn't actually our best quarterback. All of them are still 5 feet tall. And for our halfback, it is Cameron Poe that we have to roll with. This is so funny to see. The guy's 5 feet tall, but at least he's very quick. Then there's Deshaun Dobbins, my middle linebacker user with 99 speed, 99 change of direction. And this kid's also 6'8", 320. He's going to be a beast to use. But I should probably showcase the one thing that you all might be a little bit upset about, the school grades. Maybe that's something you can change going forward. And as you can see, we've just taken over everything that FIU had before us. It actually worked out because Bordeaux is a top 10 campus lifestyle. And I don't recall seeing setting rivalries in there, so this USF game's not marked as a rivalry matchup, but it's going to be one. The other team I wanted to play was number 1 Georgia on the road. This is going to be so tough. And here we go. We can go ahead and start to customize some things. I want to just edit our uniforms off the jump. I want to get another look at how clean some of them are. I can only use 2 different ones in this video. The Braille ones might be one of them though. We also have these, which were supposed to be yellow. That's on me to fix. There's the McDonald's ones. I don't think we're going to touch these. And let's go ahead and play USF. We're about to get a look at the first team builder in the game, and it skips the player intros, which is interesting. Either way, we are having the crowd pumped up right now. We're on our field. We're about to see what this all looks like, even with the mountains, and I'm going to have to go in instant replay. All I know is I cannot lose to the Bulls here. And I feel like the sky in the end zone with the mountains actually turned out a lot better in game than I thought it would. I mean, you're going to see some of the other teams' branding, which is why I'm so excited for them to eventually hopefully get to generic stadiums, but just looking around, I mean, it's very hard to tell unless you want to take a close look at it. And on 1st and 10, they just hand it off where we are going to give up 11. I don't know how my massive user isn't on the field, but I must have selected a formation he's not in, so I'm going to have to take a timeout after this. It's only right we have some time to switch things up. And here on 3rd and 10, we have Dobbins, but they complete the pass. USF has also stayed in hurry-up mode throughout this entire game against us, and I have a feeling that's something that we're just gonna have to get used to. Here on 3rd and 5, I was hoping they wouldn't hand it off, and they didn't, but they're gonna have enough time for Byron Brown to scramble for a lot of yards. And my team needs to come away with a stop. I know Heisman difficulty is super hard right now, but I'd prefer to only give away 1 copy of College Football 25 instead of 2. Between Twitter and YouTube, I think the total's already up to like 32. I mean, EA sent me quite a few. We're gonna get the interception though, and I'm also gonna take it out. Harvey just got us a massive turnover. What a play. That is what you love to see out of the Bordeaux Eagles. And there's all of our fans. You can see that there's a lot more in the black shirts than the red ones. Now it's time to use our 5 foot tall, 160-pound players though. They are so tiny. And how did I forget all about this? That might be the worst thing that I've ever done. If you all want me to do a full season with 5 foot tall players where we try to win it all, we might have to. And if you've made it this far and you're not subscribed already, make sure you are, because we're just going to keep putting out bangers. This is a great pass to rounds as well. I cannot believe how small they look in the backfield, but we're actually getting it to somebody normal sized here. And on 2nd and 11, I'm going to keep it with the option, but I'm about to take a big hit. We're going to need to convert on 3rd and long, and I'm not sure I'm going to get the throw off in time, but they think we can hit this 58-yard field goal. So I feel like we have to go for this, and that is going to not be far enough, or maybe it is. That was quite the kick from our kicker. And for being on Heisman difficulty, we have a lead against USF. I mean, I did make this team a bunch of average Joes, but I was still expecting to struggle. And we very well could. It is now 3rd and 2. They hand it off for a 3rd time, and they're breaking multiple tackles against us. That's going to take us to the end of the 1st quarter, and I noticed the video board in the back. The cheerleaders' colors also changed up a bit, which is nice. But anyway, at least the video board has Eagles and our logo popping up on it, even though it is UMass's stadium. I really don't have too much of an issue with some of those logos still being around though, because like 90% of the rebuilds I did on NCAA Football 14 had that same issue, and nobody seemed to care. You're still able to get pretty immersed, and they're just just taking this check down. They're going to get to the 25. And I can't wait to start my actual team builder series in Dynasty with somebody. I know exactly who I'm going to use, who it's going to be. I've just been waiting on team builder. And I want to make sure I do a really good job with it, just like Grand Rapids was, but they're breaking a tackle and they're in. All of a sudden, we find ourselves down by 4. And I think the jerseys came out as the best thing that I created. I finally figured out how to turn off the dynamic skill trainer as well, so that's turned off. And our little guy at running back just got rocked, but we're still about to get a first down. I'm actually very curious if we can just crawl under our center's legs to pick up this 3rd and inches. And I've never seen anything like this before. In NCAA football 14, the smallest your players could be was like 5'5". We should probably start the pass though. We've been running for a bit and our running back just got caught. So we're going to come over to the Wildcat formation. I love using these jet touch passes. That could have been a good block, but instead we lost a few yards, and I think that slant was thrown perfectly. With 2 minutes left on the clock, you know that my goal to end this first half is for this to be the final drive. And if we keep moving it like that, we might have to turn on chew clock just to get rid of the rest. I might have taken this drive pretty slow, but I just want to make sure that we have success. And running the triple option with 2 midgets should be pretty interesting here. I didn't pitch the ball, making it 2nd and 14 where that's man-to-man coverage, and we should have caught that. Here we go. This is a big moment in this matchup. I might try to step up and run all the way for the first, which I did. And there's just no way that USF is actually going to lose to us with all of these players. 2nd and 7. I want to take that zig route. They normally get open. The ball was placed just where it needed to be, and we're in the end zone. Touchdown Eagles. We have the first score of our program. Our fans look very happy, and that first touchdown is always a big deal. Things are about to get interesting though, because there's only so much time left in the half, and they've just opted to run out the rest of it instead of trying to score. For our halftime update, most of the people in the stands are our band, and I'm starting to realize that I really messed up making our team color main one be black with also the logo being black. It makes it almost impossible to see the B on there, but at least the rest of the logo is pretty sick. And running the ball is not working that well for us. Passing to the running back isn't either, which means we're in a little bit of trouble on 3rd and long, and that's a bad throw. We just gave USF life, but our kicker was super good, so I'm hoping our punter can also pin them back. It looks like that only went to about the 40. Now we need to hit stick him if we can make that happen. And I couldn't tell you how this team's going to do against #1 Georgia on the road. I have a feeling that's going to be difficult. We just missed a tackle. So we're about to blow our lead versus the Bulls, and Dobbins just got wrecked. I made this kid 99 speed with 99 change of direction. Sometimes he can try to make a tackle, but none of his other stats are good enough for that, and they're about to take it in. We have blown the lead that we had in this game, and it's not like it was much, but it would have been nice to keep it. I'm going back to Wildcat. I feel like if we pick up the right blocks, we have the speed to hit this outer edge really well. And I don't know if the double reverse flea flicker out of this is going to work against the computer, but I had to give it a shot. And there's a flag. No, we're about to score a touchdown, and this is going to come back. That would have given us the lead. Go ahead, ref. Ruin my day with that call. And now we're going to have to pass to move it down the field, but I might take a sack unless I can get out of there, and they don't know how to chase me down. I have noticed it takes quite a while for quarterbacks to go down into that sliding animation, so I should keep that in mind. We have an interesting RPO here as well. I didn't know if we were going to actually get anything. And if you take a look at that clock, my goal with this drive is to make it one of the last ones in the game. I think the computer can be really hard to stop. And on 3rd and 5, I'm just going to take the halfback angle route, but it's short. I think we have to go for this all day. I'm going to take the out route, and we're going to get our feet in. But they're saying the pass was incomplete, and it's USF ball, which means we have to challenge this play. I am throwing the flag now. I think our receiver had possession before he got a foot out. I mean, that is clearly a catch. But the ref didn't seem to think so, and this is not good. We're about to lose this game because of a bad call. It was missed. And we have the home field advantage. If anything, this should be happening to USF, not us. Don't tell me that they're about to get in again. Well, it's starting to look like I'm about to give away 2 copies of College Football 25 instead of 1, but that juke was filthy. And I'm going to try this reverse pass one more time because it did work the last, but this one we're not going to be able to get off. When we were taking it slow, we were doing just fine, but now that we have to get it down the field quick, I don't know if we can pull this off. And that ball was almost perfect, but it still didn't matter, so we're going to have to convert this 3rd and long. I also need to stop throwing to our running back, but I went with this play. And that might have been my worst idea, making these guys 5 feet tall. It is not looking pretty for the home team. We only have a few plays left to try and convert, and they're going to pick that off. All right, we have lost to the Bulls in this first game. There is like nothing I can do. The only way out of this is if we can get them off of the field on this 3rd and 10. They're just going to keep it with Byron Brown, and we have to make the tackle as soon as possible. The 2-minute warning could have really helped us, but this kick looks like it's good. And there's a couple routes that I want to try to throw Bro, I had him over the top, but I didn't have enough time to get it off to our 5-foot-tall running back, and that was almost a safety. I think all that's left in the tank is throwing up a prayer here, and it's a shame that my creative team, my team builder, couldn't win our first game against our rivals USF. We let this running back do whatever he wanted to against us, and now we have to go on the road at #1 Georgia. Well, luckily for us, going into this game, they have picked up a loss, but I already have to give away one copy of College Football 25, and unless there's a miracle in the Braille jerseys, we're giving away 2. I don't think Sanford Stadium's going to be very welcoming to this team, but here we are, and it looks like the intro's working on this game, so we got to see our players. We actually get the first drive in this game, and everybody knows that I love to run the jet touch pass, so maybe Georgia will get faked out by this, but they did. This stadium's already getting rowdy, and the halfback screen could work wonders if our blocks could hold. Here we only got 5, but that's all we need, just short completions, nothing major, and come on. I'm going for this already. We all know that I'm not getting a stop in this video, so that is why we had to pick up the 4th down. And there is life for your Bordeaux Eagles. I can't wait to do my actual team builder series on this channel. It's going to be fun, but not that first year, especially when we start out with a cupcake team, and I can't audible a thing. It is 3rd and 9. I just have to hope that we can pick it up with this drag, but we're going to be a bit short. It is time to go to the money play here. We're just going to hit it, and then if we cut up the middle, we should have enough. So we're actually doing pretty well for our first drive against Georgia, but it's all because I'm taking our checkdowns. I have a feeling running the ball is going to be almost impossible, though. I'm surprised we just pulled this one off. And I did figure out a new move outside of that spin move, so I need to try it. I went for the possession catch there. We couldn't hold on, though. That's unfortunate. We also didn't hang on to our blocks there, but the spin gets us the first. And I don't care how long this drive takes me. I'm happy with how it's going. We already ate away at the entire first quarter, and I tried to change this play call, but I couldn't audible, so it wouldn't let me, and that's going to lead to a sack. I started looking deep when I really shouldn't have. We did pick up the blitz, though, and I set my feet in order to deliver a dot, which means there is hope against the Georgia Bulldogs, and look at some of that blocking. I don't know how long this can last for, but we're about to get a touchdown. And do not make your guys 5 feet tall. They don't seem to know how to catch the football. It's 3rd and 1, but we all know I can't hand it off in this situation. We just have to go down immediately, and it's a 4th and inches. This is not good. Our center is not winning versus those 2 defensive linemen, and we are still falling forward. Who would have thought Georgia would struggle to stop the Bordeaux Eagles? And they also jumped off sides, I think, but maybe it's against us. Of course, the false start. They're giving them the home field advantage, and we're just going to have to persevere through that, but they got in instantly. That's a shame, too, because I really like that play, and they swat it down. I'm too short to throw it with Joe Bowers, so I feel like Joe Bowers tried his best, but we're going to have to just settle for 3. And are you serious right now? The kicking in this game is driving me insane. I can't even get mad at anybody because it's my fault for not being able to drill it, but they're throwing it right back to us. We're getting an interception. And what is Carson Beck doing? How on earth has Bordeaux done this? That was a really weird line to say. I meant the Bordeaux Eagles, not myself, but we're running for a bit. And I'm just going into options and checking the difficulty because I'm tripping out. How are we playing this well on Heisman? For a second, I was like, did something get messed up there? But no, nothing did. It is now 3rd and 6, and I'm just not going to get it out. This time around, I'm hoping to hit the field goal, though. It is shaking a lot, and we are going to drill it. But the real issue is Georgia still has 59 seconds to move it down the field on us. And then they also get the ball to start the 3rd quarter, which could lead to a lot of points. It's 3rd and 3, though, so maybe not. We have a huge user, and he couldn't get to the ball, which has allowed them to pick up the first, at least for now, and they're about to dot us up again. I think Carson Beck is starting to make up for the mistakes he made earlier on, and there's no way they're running the jet touch pass against me. They're still throwing the football. I am going to get stuck, though, and leave that guy open. Well, they pretty much have 4 plays to get into the end zone, and I'm sure that they're about to do that. We need our defense to hold strong, and they throw it away, but there's still a few more chances to get into the end zone, and that's another bad pass. This is the most locked in I feel like I've ever been. We just are protecting the end zone. Please do not let a route bounce get us. I mean, we're generating absolutely 0 pressure, but it doesn't matter because going into the half, it's 3-3. We're even getting the ball back with a second left, and I want to try something. Georgia, if you give this trick play up, that is going to be so embarrassing, but we're about to find out if they do. Here we go. Go around, double reverse. He's gone. Please, please. No, it's behind him. No, they're going to catch us. We almost had him wait. Okay, yeah. We're caught. That would have been a crazy way to end the first half, but of course, they're going to make up ground. And for being 5 feet tall, Joe Bowers is playing very well, but they just hit us over the middle for a huge gain off the rip, and of course, they break the tackles too. Georgia's turning it up to start the second half. That's exactly what I expected out of their offense, and now we can't audible or do anything. This place is going to go crazy. If you thought we had a chance in this game, you might have thought that for a split second, but now everything's going wrong. And these holding calls are going to drive me crazy. I can only imagine how bad it's going to be whenever I have a cupcake team builder, but that might just be a laser. And hold up, Joe Bowers is starting to put on a clinic against this Georgia D. We just have to keep it moving, and maybe a jet sweep is going to get us the first down. But what would really help us is a pass deep down the field, and I'm going to take off to this left side if he's quick enough to get around that lineman, which he is. If you thought I was going to give up after we went down by a little bit, you would be mistaken. But not being able to audible anything at all has definitely been a challenge, and we're going to take this all day. I'm just happy with how I've moved the ball. Normally, I am terrible on offense, and I feel like I've given us a fighting chance in this one. The hardest part is always finishing the drive off, though, and that slant's open. We just can't have them pick this off, and they did. I threw it a second too late. Georgia just pretty much won the game against us, and that yellow passing meter hurts so bad. Here on 2nd and 10, they have the best lineman in the world, so they're going to have about infinite time back there in the pocket, and I have come out pressing against them. I might live to regret this, but they're not going anywhere so far. We're fumbling. They're fumbling. Let's go. Let's go. We're forcing turnovers. We're staying in this game. Joe Bowers, you better not choke here. I just want you to take a nice little check down so we can get 5 yards. I mean, if we would have just finished off one of those drives, it'd be so much better. And this place is going crazy again, but we should have our tight end in the flat, which is going to lead to us getting down to the 17. That was a pretty crazy first 3 quarters. The fact that we're still in this game shocks me. And I put this in here just so we'd have a quick second game and get through the rest of it. Even though I selected the average Joe's team builder, I figured we'd get demolished in this, and I am about to step up and try to scramble, but it's not going to work. It's okay. We're going to bring some motions back into the offense and then hit our running back immediately. He is going to catch it, and that's the first time he has. This is what we need. I actually feel kind of confident that we could get a defensive stop against Georgia, but this player seems slow, and there's just one more player to beat. The speed option might be our only option to this right side with 2 5-foot-tall players. And instead of pitching it, I did the fake. I think it's because I accidentally hit it twice. It's just a bad habit. Making it 4th and goal, you all know I can't audible anything here. It's just what we have set up to run with, and they got in. I want you all to know that I am very proud of the effort that I put on here, but we are going to lose. And they're just 1 first down away from ruining our upset dreams. Here we go. We know that they're running the ball again. We just have to hit them. And I don't know what they'll go with on 3rd and 6, but it's a run, and we just didn't get there in time. You know what? The Bordeaux Eagles put up a respectable fight here at Sanford Stadium. And this is just the start for all the crazy things I'm going to be able to do with Teambuilder throughout the year. Again, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and check out some of my other college football 25 content that I've already gotten out.